Kia ora and hello, welcome to Cheeky Badger, welcome FS Consultancy, welcome Andrew Bailey. So happy you could make it today. Doing well, thank you Andrew, and glad you could be first there FS Consultancy. So we're getting into winter time, it's November, so not a lot happening, so we probably we'll be running out of stuff to do. I think we've got one fertilizing contract, and that's probably about it. So we'll borrow that from there, and we'll get that done. And then we'll see what happens. So I might have to skip through winter a bit until we can get into spring. Winter's always a bit slow. Now pigs are doing well. What I'm thinking we might do, we might sell. So I think we've got, if we take away 33, that should give us enough to, when they breed, they will have a full pen with the piglets. So I think we'll do that. And we'll go and pick up that fertilizing, and we'll get that done. I keep going on the wrong side of the car. I keep going to the correct side of the car for what I'm used to. And how did your stream go, FS Consultancy? I hope it went well. And once again, thank you for joining all those on our vertical and horizontal streams. It's great to see you all here. So Giants basically put a big announcement out, or a big blog out. Oh, sorry to hear that, Andrew. Oh, that is gut-wrenching when that happens. Yeah, I really do feel for you, mate. That's tough. The only thing I can say that can be a little bit consoling is maybe now that you know how to do it, you can do it a little bit better. Not that there was anything wrong with what you'd done. That was fantastic. That was absolutely awesome what I saw. But yeah, I've had that happen a couple of times. Oh wow, we've just jumped up another 2 subscribers. Thank you everyone, that is absolutely fantastic. I do appreciate that. 131. Awesome to hear, mate. Hey, thank you so much. So you work at the moment, Andrew, or you've got the day off? I had Farmer J and FS Consultancy streams running in the background at work. So hopefully that's helped your watch time, FS Consultancy. Okay, looks like we're in a New Holland today for the fertilizer. So yeah, Giants released a blog about the state of the mod hub and that sort of thing. Basically was just confirming, I think, what we already knew, that there have been a lot of mods released and that they really don't have the resources to cope with the current lot of mods. And it's understandable that they're reluctant to hire more people for something that probably doesn't generate a lot of income for them. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic service. They provide the mod hub. You know, we don't have to pay for it. It's not like we have to pay a monthly subscription to access the mod hub. I can think of some companies that did that. Trains is one of them. If you wanted to download from their mod hub, you had to pay a monthly subscription to get the high speed. You know, so Giants are pretty good, and you know, by having the mod hub, it gives the console players a repository that they can download the mods, and you know, they're not kept out of the whole loop for the mods. There are some mods that are restricted for the consoles, we do know that, but they still get you know, most of the equipment, even if it is Lizard branded. And you know, it's an incredible service for all players, especially console players. There were some things that they didn't address too much. There had been some cases where people seemed to jump the queue, and I'm not sure they fully addressed that, but they may be more careful if they're aware that people are aware. So yeah, it's just across the road from us. I think I know how to get there. So it was an interesting blog, but like I say, it didn't really give me much new information. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. Oh, I hope you feel better soon, mate. Oh, that'll be awesome. Awesome for them to have an auto load. Another mod I found today in GitHub was the enhanced finance mod. He had forked it from Chisel. And has given Chisel full credit for it, and has said that if Chisel asks him to remove it from GitHub, he will remove it from GitHub. But he has released it for FS25, and the idea of the mod is you can take out a mortgage over a set number of years and have the repayments and interest calculated on a monthly basis, which I think is absolutely awesome. You know, especially if you're starting off, you know, you can build your farm. You can say, right, I'm gonna say I've got a $2 million mortgage, and so you can do that, and you know, you have to make repayments every month. So I used that a lot in FS22, so looking forward to using it in FS25. If Chisel agrees for him to keep it up, or maybe Chisel will release his own version. Yeah, it's available in GitHub. I think if you do a search for FS25 and enhanced, it should turn up in the search. I might actually even put it up in the Discord. Now, I don't really want the worker to be doing this. I'm pretty sure I can do this. And what's good about it is, just like a real live mortgage, you can, you know, make lump sum payments to reduce the mortgage. So, you know, I've done it where I've sort of started off with a $2 million mortgage, but I'm paying it off over 20 years. I usually have it well and truly paid off well before then, because let's face it, making money in Farm Sim is actually pretty easy. You're talking of the warehouse mod, I'm going to have to rent one of those trailers too and sell some of the bread. Yeah, very true, Andrew, very true. And like for this type of game here, I actually have it set on easy, just so that, you know, things can progress pretty quickly. I'll be honest, I don't know how Daggerwin does it, but yo, he can really stay poor for a very, very long time. So what crops do you usually grow there, Andrew? And we had a few mods released today. One notable one I thought was the Ballon Road cow barn, better known as Tom Pembleton's Farms Life cow barn. I'm actually looking forward to see if that map comes to FS25, because with the grazing system it makes sense to have the cows out in the fields and then coming in for milking. That's what he does. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that map goes, but having the dairy, well, the cow shed is fantastic as well. Good on ya. Yeah, I know the big buds have been released as well. I have to admit, I'm not into the big equipment like that. I prefer the smaller equipment. You know, they are an amazing bit of kit. And absolutely fantastic for the Great Plains of Canada, you know, where you need big equipment to be able to plant as much as they do. So I know there'll be a lot of people excited about it. I'll just have to say, unfortunately, I'm probably not one of them. It's not my kind of game style. Although maybe we could have a few big buds on the Four Fields map. Might actually do a Four Fields multiplayer stream tomorrow night if people are interested. Hello Sydney Morse Jack, how are you today? Thank you for joining the stream. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining us on our vertical stream. We do have a horizontal stream available as well if you want to join us on that and just have a slightly bigger picture. I've done my best with vertical, but yeah, the game doesn't play vertical. Don't worry, Sydney, I know that feeling. We got sheltered a very big lunch at lunchtime today. We got taken out to a Brazilian barbecue restaurant. And basically, they had a little bit of salad and a lot of meat. There was a lot of protein. We had beef, lamb, pork, The pork was just absolutely fantastic. They brought out some pork spare ribs, and literally the meat fell off the bone. It was absolutely beautiful. I even tried something that I hadn't tried before. At a chicken heart, and it was actually, that was good. It surprised me. But yeah, with such a big meal, I didn't really need much for dinner, and I'm feeling rather sleepy at the moment. So I'll do my best to stay awake. Yeah, definitely not the sort of restaurant you want to go to if you're a vegetarian, I'm afraid. But yeah, they had some deep fried banana, that was great, and barbecued pineapple. And that was actually surprisingly nice. I'm just looking through that list, and wouldn't be a Kiwi stream without getting to turn the implement on. Oh mate, you've made my day, Andrew. Thank you so much for that. When I was younger, I used to watch a lot of David Attenborough, and I used to have his accent down pretty well. Hey, thanks Sydney, I appreciate it. That's awesome. Yeah, Sydney, don't let me keep you up. You're more than welcome to go and have a sleep if you need it. Yeah, I was hoping I was going to miss that one. Only just clipped it. Hope they gave us enough fertilizer. Yeah, that new potato chip factory looks quite good too. Looks like the recipe wasn't too bad. So, might try that out sometime. Grow some potatoes in a garden. And the new headland management mod. I'm gonna have to try that one out. I'm not too sure how it works. If it's just, I think it slows down the equipment and turns implements if you need to. So we'll have to see how that is. Mr. A Farmers, hello, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. I hope you are doing well, my friend. Yeah, they are a nice tractor. This one came on the contract, so that's what's good about the contract, is you get to use the new vehicles. But I actually think the The New Holland's good value in the bigger tractor range. When I've needed a bigger tractor, the New Holland is quite often first on my list. Especially when I don't have a lot of money. When I have a lot of money, I go for the Class TerraTrack, but when I don't have a lot of money and you know, I want bang for buck, it's definitely the New Holland. Okay, just working on something at the moment. You probably already have worked out what it is. Have some refreshments on me. So there's not much happening today. We're sort of nearly at winter time, so I think we'll be skipping through winter. We have a little bit. It's improved. Okay, maybe we'll do a couple of these contracts. What are we in here? T8. So New Holland again. Thank you there, Andrew. Yeah, let's figure out how do we get to the contracts. Okay, so we've got one down there. and one all the way up there. So opposite corners of the map. I'm sure we can cope with that. Yeah, I've definitely got all messy at Calmsden Farm, but yeah, I went for the Doochfar on this map, and it turned out to be a really good choice because it's got a top speed of 60 kilometers an hour, which when you're on a 4X map is really helpful. At the risk of losing half my subscribers, I'm not a huge John Deere fan, I'm afraid. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up speaking miles per hour and kilometers per hour. We'd swapped over sort of in the mid 70s, so I was taught metrics at school, but my first car was pre-metric system in New Zealand, so it still had a miles per hour speedo. Yes. Yeah, they'll do, I think that's 70 kilometers in the metric system. That is fast, especially in a tractor. Yeah, that was a nice tractor, the T6 two-wheel drive. I do like the older Fords too when they are available. Hello Bocker, how are you today? Thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like, do you get paid if you're not working, or yeah, I know when I was working on the orchard, it was contract work a lot of the time. So if you got rained off, you didn't get paid. All right, yeah, I think we have to go all the way down there and then turn off. Yeah, we've got, I think they call it an atmospheric river going to be hitting us soon. Parts of the South Island are already getting it. I reckon we'll be getting some fairly heavy rain tonight and tomorrow. So yeah, could be interesting. I'm hoping that we're not going to be getting as much rain as the poor people in Queensland have been getting. They've been hammered hard. Serious flooding. Oh, that's good, mate. Yeah, a bit different when it's a contract, I tell you. It's sort of like, yeah, you don't work, you don't get paid. Yeah, fair enough on that one, mate. Oh, excuse me. Instead of a crash counter, I should have a forgotten implement counter. There we go, have some more refreshments. This hill's making it hard work, isn't it? That's what I like about this map, is just the subtle changes in elevation. Can make life interesting. You think, oh, it's a flat map, oh, you know, I don't need a powerful tractor, but in some of these fields you do need quite a powerful tractor. Oh man, that would stink, not being able to get the parts you need. I guess it's not like it was an old machine either. Oh, that is a tough one, Andrew Bailey. One tractor. Gotta think about that one. From a practical side, I think I would almost be going for a Voltra. They do look awesome, and yeah, they've got a good amount of power for the size of them, and the price of them. Yeah, I do sort of have my favourite tractors for different size ranges. Yeah, I quite like the smaller cases, possibly because of Tom Pimpleton's farm life. You know, he has one, so it's possibly why I preferred them. I don't know. Yeah, I did go all massy for Calmston Farm, and I'm happy I did. It's, you know, a nice thing for the farm. Bigger tractors, definitely for me it's the TerraTrack. Yeah, reverse driving. Yeah, fair enough, 100%. Massey Ferguson, don't blame you. Yeah, I do like the old Fords. And I do like the Massey 35. I think it's the 35, the little one. Mainly because, you know, we had one on the orchard I worked on. Yeah, and it just kept going and going. It was a great little transport tractor. Not so good for modern farming, but it was a fun tractor. We had a big platform that we all just loaded on and got carried out into the orchard so that we could do our orchard work. It was fun. Yeah, you're definitely right there, Andrew. On my Discord, I've actually got a video of the old Masseys that were used in Antarctica to do the run to the South Pole. Just amazing. I actually saw one in real life. We've got one here at a Transport Technology Museum in Auckland. And it was just amazing to think that they travelled all that distance in the ice and snow of Antarctica in an old Massey Ferguson tractor. And they were saying that they had to use blowtorches on the fuel lines to thaw the fuel out before they could start it. Helps if I turn on the GPS. Yeah, no worries, mate. It's in the clips section. I've got quite a few that I've come up on my feed, old farming. There's one there from farming in the 30s where they were using the horse and carts and that sort of thing to pick up the hay. I was just sort of thinking it'd be really awesome if we could have some equipment like that in Farming Simulator. Yeah, we've got horses. It'd be neat if you could hook a horse up to a cart and load it up with grain and clip clop down to the grain store and drop it off. I hope your farm building's going okay for you, mate. Yeah, I like the Mercedes as well. There is a rumour that we might be getting Mercedes with the stars align. Good morning, Mr. AI Farmer. How are you today? Thank you for joining the stream. We're having a good discussion about tractors at the moment. What are some of our favourite tractors? You're more than welcome to join in and let us know what you like. Yeah, class. Yeah, I am a big fan of the TerraTrack. That is probably my favourite big tractor. No worries, no worries. Happens to me if I'm watching something at work. Yep, I know what you mean. Yeah, the ones that pivot can be a real tricky thing to drive in reverse. In the big class, that is good. Four-wheel steering. Definitely a nice machine. Now, I especially like the one where the cabin would turn round and you'd go in reverse. But I don't think any of the ones we've got at the moment do that, unfortunately. I do sometimes wish I don't mind the smaller cases around the farm, but yeah, the big cases, yeah, they don't rattle my cage much. But yeah, especially the big quad tracks. I'm just not into pivoting tractors. I'd much sooner go for one of the more traditional, big rear wheel, smaller front wheel, larger tractor than go for a pivot tractor. What I would like for Giants to do is in their specs for the tractors is to put in the wheelbase distance. That to me would give me a good indication, of what would be a good tractor for what I want to do, The smaller wheelbase is going to be way better for navigating around tight farms, so it would be nice to know which tractors had the smaller wheelbases and which ones didn't. I've even gone as far as leasing all the tractors that I'm interested in and lining them all up just to try and see if I can see which one has a smaller wheelbase. It won't be long before we have our big agricultural show near where I live. So I'm looking forward to going to that. Getting to see all the tractors in real life. And going, wow, they're way bigger than I expected. One year they actually brought in a huge potato harvester. They are huge. Couldn't believe how big they were. The other thing too that I couldn't believe was how tall. Like, they had a class butterfly mower there, and it was folded up, and you're just looking at it going, this thing is so tall. Yeah, they do have some pretty big farms over there, don't they? The edge of the map isn't too bad here, but it's not quite as good as Calmsden, I don't think. To me, it's sort of a shame that, you know, he didn't reduce some of the trees there and put some of those trees out into the distance to make it look like it just continued on. Yeah, no worries. You'll have to tell us what sort of dog you have when you get back. Oh, they are, mate. Yeah. Yeah, I visited a open cast mine once, and I was watching a big front end loader pick up a bucket full of dirt and rock, and he dumped it into one of those great big dump trucks, and his bucket filled the dump truck straight away, and the dump truck took off and went down the hill. And I was thinking, man, that dump truck's not that big, you know, if one bucket will fill it up. And then he went down to the bottom of the mine and parked next to a Kenworth with a low loader. And honestly, that Kenworth looked like a Tonka toy compared to this huge big mine truck. And I was just thinking, wow, that bucket is huge. the equipment, is just amazing. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that map as well. I can't wait to see it. And according to Farmer Klein, Maypole Farm will probably be going into Mod Hub testing soon. Yep, all good there. Yeah, so Maypole Farm could be a good one to visit again. I did spend a bit of time on it. I think it was in FS19. But I never really got into it into FS22. So it could be quite good to give it another go in FS25. But yeah, definitely Saxlingham. Could be a good map to move on to. Almost sort of feel like I've reached the goal for this map. You know, it was, could I make a go of it? You know, coming from the big city and the office job, and sitting in the tractor, and you know, enjoying the comforts of the tractor chair instead of the office chair. And I think I'm doing okay. You know, 206 grand in the bank. Got a pigsty. I've got a big field. I've got some productions. So yeah, I think I've proved my point on this map. But how I will play the new map, yeah, I won't really know until I see the map and let the map inspire me. And that's where I can have the problem, is I can load up a map, I can jump on it, and if I have trouble telling a story on it, it can be difficult to start on the map. And I'm not just saying, you know, a story for the sake of streaming, because before I streamed, I would look at a map and go, okay, what's my story in this map? Why am I here? What am I going to do in this map? And if the map didn't tell me or inspire me to do something, I found it difficult to play it. But I'm actually looking forward to doing a bit more on Calmsden. I've got a couple of storylines that I want to follow up on Calmsden. I think it'll be quite neat. Yep, no, you're right there, Andrew, but unfortunately sometimes the map doesn't talk. Yeah, sometimes that can happen. I think that's what I liked about Alien Jim's maps. It was always sort of like a storyline that you had to follow along. Yeah, you didn't have to create the storyline. He had that storyline there for you. And it was always an interesting storyline. And Spectacle Island was absolutely amazing. Yeah, going onto that farm and yeah, having to tidy it up before you could use the animal pens was absolutely awesome. Yeah, you felt like you were starting off on a deserted farm and that. Yeah, it was the same with Mercury farms as well. You know, you're starting off with a boarded up house and you had to unboard it. So Andrew, what maps were you really looking forward to that ended up disappointing you? Just out of interest? Can't get into that corner. Never mind. Yep, I agree. It's definitely a big fields map. You know, a wide open kind of map. But I agree with you that it is a bit sparse, not a lot of decoration in it. He did do well getting the buildables in it. Hey, Nacho! Thank you for joining. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, there was a couple of things with the Michigan map that I just yeah, it to me just didn't seem quite right. Like the latest one that came out, there's no road heading out of the map. There's a train going across it, but it's a fully enclosed road system. There's just no way out. It's like Hotel California. Oh, that's good to hear, mate. So you've finished working on the farm for the day and they've let you go home? Yeah, I'm hoping Alma, Missouri will be quite a good map. It wasn't one that I played on much in FS22, I will admit, but for an American map, I liked it. But one American map that I really did like was Griffin, Indiana. That one just screamed a story to me. Hello, CS Benji. How are you? Hope you are doing well, my friend. Oh, Nacho, I hope those cows behave themselves and you don't get called out again. Yeah, I can't wait to check it out and see what sort of story screams out at me on that one. Good morning, Klaus. How are you today? Thank you for joining. Hope you are feeling well. Good on you, mate. Well, thank you for joining the stream there, CS Benji. I do appreciate it. Oh, that's good. Yep, we're due for quite a bit of rain over the next couple of days, which will be good because we do need it. We've got what they call an atmospheric river heading our way. I'm just doing a last few contracts for November before we hit winter time. Might just skip right through winter because there's usually not a lot of work to do over winter time, except maybe plough some roads. You know, do so much of that. He does have that kind of voice. It's quite calming, and it's very easy to fall asleep. I won't tell you how many times I've fallen asleep to Mr. Silly P. I'll put one of his videos on, and yeah, I'm feeling a bit sleepy, but wanting to, you know, catch up on the latest mods or something like that, and hello, before you know it, his video's finished and I've still got no idea what mods are like or anything like that. Yeah, I haven't actually watched Argsy's video yet to his stream from last night, because apparently he had a bit of a rant about everything, so might be interesting to see what his rant was about. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. Right, I think I'm going to park up here. Who parks a gateway like this right in the middle of nowhere? I think we've got time to sleep. Yep, 79 hours. So I might just have a quick sleep. And then we can start on that other contract. And thank you to everyone that is on our horizontal and vertical streams. If you haven't done so already, if you could remember to hit the like button, that would be fantastic. And for those that haven't subscribed yet, it would be really great. It will help the channel so much, and it doesn't cost you a cent. And we've been known to throw the odd coffee around as a bit of a bribe as well. But thank you all for joining and watching. I do appreciate it, and especially those that join me on the chat. Yeah, where we can have a bit of fun. I do thank you for that as well. Thanks, Nacho. So everyone in chat, Andrew asked a excellent question. If you could only have one tractor, what would it be? If you let me know in the chat, then I'll let you know what my answer was and the reason for it. Yeah, I do need to catch up on that stream and watch it, just see what he was saying. I did say earlier on in the stream myself that, you know, I read through it and I felt that what they said in their blog post was basically what we already knew, that they had been absolutely inundated with mods, that they didn't have enough people to get through the mods quickly. Oh, did he? Oh, Nightbot. Oh, mate, come on, Nightbot. Yeah, sorry there, Seth Benji. Hopefully I've fixed it so it won't happen again. Yeah, I'll say, that, yeah, he, yeah, they didn't really tell me anything I didn't already know. Yeah, I think we all know that they were inundated. That, you know, they basically provide a free service. So, you know, what right do we have to complain? You know, I know of some companies that charge a monthly fee if you want to download from their mod hub at full speed. Giants isn't doing that. And, you know, I hope that they never do, but they're not doing that at the moment. They're providing that mod hub for everyone in the community to use, those on consoles, those on PCs. You know, it's absolutely fantastic. You know that the mods on the mod hub have been tested. And, you know, as a whole, there are mod conflicts, we know that, but we also know that, you know, they can't be expected to test every mod against every mod. You know, and it's a fantastic service that they provide. I know there was some questions about some people appearing to be given priority, and they didn't necessarily address that well with their answer, but you know, at the end of the day, they're not charging us for the mod hub service. And yeah, I think they're doing a fairly good job with it. Yeah, I agree, Klaus. I'm not fully aware of what's happening with Star Citizen, but I know that there's a lot of games that, you know, have tried to do what Giants have done and haven't succeeded as well as Giants has. And, you know, let's face it, how many of us would want Giants to charge us a monthly subscription to use Mod Hub just so they could employ a few more testers so that we could get our mods a couple of weeks earlier? Yeah, it's an economics thing, isn't it? And you know, it's sort of like you hire people, you know, to clear a glut and you know, in 3 or 4 weeks time that glut's cleared and you don't need those people anymore. So what do? You let them go. That's not fair on those people. So yeah, I felt they were just letting us know what we already knew, but yeah, they admitted that they were having trouble keeping up with the testing, and that's fair enough. You know, we all know that there were some serious bugs in the game that needed to be fixed, and you know, it's one thing to fix things, but it's another thing to know that fix isn't going to break something else, and that's got to be done with testing. You know, so they've got one hand, people are screaming, I want these bugs fixed, I want patches put out straight away, you know, and then the same people are saying, oh, but I also want these mods released so that I can, you know, use them, because having 10 tractors in the game isn't enough for me, you know. I need to have 200. And yeah, I think, you know, people just have to be patient and appreciate what they've got with the game and the company. That's my 2 cents worth anyway. Yeah, there you go, CS Benji. You should be safe now from Nightbot. My apologies, sir, but it did work out in our favour on an earlier stream when we had Mr. Negativity come on and want to express his negativity to certain people. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. That's... yeah. Yeah, I do see the way the gaming industry is going in some places, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know, microtransactions, loot boxes. I think that they should be completely banned as gambling, and gambling aimed at children. No way a game that's played by children should have a loot box. Yeah, I can understand. You know, people are passionate about the game. They want it to be a great game. Yeah, and I can understand the passion. But you know, to me, it's a great game. I rarely buy or pre-purchase games, and I'll be honest, the few that I have pre-purchased, I have been incredibly disappointed with. Hey AI Farmer, we're just having an interesting talk about you know, how people feel about giants and, you know, that sort of thing. I was just saying, you know, I've pre-purchased only a few games, and as a whole I've been really disappointed with my pre-purchases. But I've pre-purchased the last two Giants games, FS22 and FS25, and I have not been disappointed. You know, it's usually worked reasonably well out of the box. There, you know, it did need fixing, but you know it's going to get fixed. And you know if you're buying a season pass, they're going to deliver on the season pass. I've got one game that's been out for 18 months now, and I'm still waiting on my season 1 pass to be delivered. Yeah, they've had my money for 18 months and I haven't seen anything for it. Yeah, I think they fixed a lot of things. I do wish they'd fix this texture problem. It does make for some interesting... I've definitely done some things where I've looked behind me and gone, oh, I forgot to drop the cultivator, when just basically the cultivated ground hadn't caught up with me. They are, mate. Loot boxes are the worst. And the trouble is, you know, if people didn't buy them, they wouldn't keep them in the games. If they didn't work, they wouldn't use them. But as P.T. Barnum is quite often, I'm pretty sure it's P.T. Barnum, was quoted as saying, there's a sucker born every minute. And unfortunately, there are a lot of morons that are happy to let their money go. Yeah, I think the PlayStation was really hit hard, wasn't it, with the game and crashing? I think sometimes what makes it worse too is, yeah, they work so hard to get it released just before Christmas so that, yeah, they can capture that Christmas gift market. And just after they've released the game, they then go away for, you know, a 3-week holiday, which, you know, they deserve it. They deserve a 3-week holiday. But, you know, if the game's not working, it's sort of like, come on, guys, I don't want this holiday. I want the game to work. And I think it can give sort of like a bad impression that, oh yeah, we've sold you a broken game, we're going to go away on holiday, good luck. maybe if they released the game earlier, they'd still capture that Christmas market, or if not, it's more than likely it's been sold before then. Yeah, I can understand the frustration, mate. We've spent a few hours on a game and suddenly it just crashes. It can be incredibly frustrating. It has happened to me. Yep, Andrew, I agree. DLCs are a little bit different because you are getting a different product, an enhancement or something like that. But yeah, charging for skins or something like that, it's like Giants saying, oh, yeah, if you want to change the colour of your tractor, you've got to buy this, $3 pack. Yeah, AI Farmer, I understand that one completely. Unfortunately, in the world we live in, I can remember when games were on CDs and they had to work right from the start because you couldn't download a day one patch. So they had to get them right. But then when they started using the internet to push out patches and all that, they could get sloppy because they knew that they could quickly fix something after the people that have purchased it have beta tested it. And that's, unfortunately, that is the way the game industry is now. They're not paying for beta testers to do the testing for them anymore. We pay them to beta test their games for them. Do I hate it? Yes, I do. Is it the way it is now? Yes, it is, unfortunately. Yeah, RP Gamer, I used to do a lot of turn strategy games. And the occasional FPSs and that sort of thing. Yeah, I've been a gamer for a lot of years. I've seen the industry, grow from being a niche nerd thing to, a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I've also seen a lot of companies, just turn out to be pure greedy. Yeah, they had to because they had to work because you didn't have the internet. You got your games on the floppy, you loaded them from the floppy. They had to work. Yeah, freaking tape. I remember that. Yep. Yeah, I was at Atari and loading it from the tape. yeah, you'd wait 5 minutes for a program to load, and then yeah, you'd play it, and yeah. They had to be better programmed because the amount of memory that they were allowed to use was absolutely tiny. I can't remember for sure, but you know, I've got 64 gig of memory in my rig now because when I upgraded it, the extra couple of sticks of memory were pretty minimal compared to what I'd already spent on everything else. So I bumped it up to 64 gig, and I'm pretty sure my first hard drive was only a 32 gig drive. So I've now got more memory than my first hard drive. Yeah, they did work great. I actually, I had the 520 ST. Had 130XE, which was the 8-bit, and the 520 ST was the 16-bit. And it had built-in MIDI ports. And I remember borrowing my sister's keyboard, which had a MIDI port on it. And, you know, I was writing music for it and having all sorts of fun. Oh yes, mate. Oh yes. Yeah, where we were had a really strong TV signal, and one of the stations was right next to the channel the computer used, so it would actually interfere. And so I'd always have wavy lines through the computer. Yeah, so did I. So did I. I remember, I think it was a wireframe taking off from Meigs Airfield in Chicago, and yeah. Yeah, that was my first flight simulator as well. Yeah, my screen's definitely a lot better now. I've sort of got a 50-inch 4K screen at the moment. It just completely fills my field of view. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I know I probably left it at home somewhere, and my folks have moved a few times since then, so I'm not sure what happened to that one. But yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, I think Sublogic, you only had certain areas you could fly in, didn't you? There was, I think I remember flying around New York and, you know, flying around the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, New York and Chicago, that's the one. Yeah, I have to say, I was actually really lucky at the school I went to. They got their first computers back in 1982. You know, when PCs were only just first starting to come out. We had some teachers that were really strong on technology and that sort of thing, and the school was really quick to look at how technology could be taught. Yep, internet by phone line. I've even played that sound to my girls so they knew what it would sound like. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that setup. Yeah, I couldn't typing, mate, otherwise I would have been beat up by our rugby team. Regret that I never did, though. Yeah, now most graphics cards come with 4 outlets, 4 ports. It would have been. Wouldn't have been a plug and play, that's for sure. Oh yeah, you had to push those keys down hard on the typing machines, didn't you? So we've got 9 on the stream. Thank you all for joining. 4 on the vertical stream. Thank you for joining as well. Hope everyone's enjoying the stream. If you are, please remember to hit the like button. And if you are enjoying the stream and you haven't subscribed already, feel free to do so. It doesn't cost anything, and it really does help the channel. But just enjoy the stream. So every program change on the PC had to be made on the other two as well. So yeah, so you had to install a new airplane, you had to install it exactly the same way on every PC. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's CS Benji. Funny thing about typing is you had to load the paper into the typewriter and the keyboard sends a specific signal for a file. Yeah. And then AI Farmer, and then a spurt to 1999, the beginning of my CNC madness. Oh, Command and Conquer. Yes. Yes, I spent a few hours doing Command and Conquer. Although I was probably more a civilization. You had two, so you can play multiplayer. Oh, that would have been fun. Yeah, I think my first look at multiplayer gaming was a friend came over who had an Atari ST and I had an Atari ST, and he loaned me his Fighting Falcon discs, so I loaded them on and he had them on his one and we hooked them up and we both took off. And he shoved a missile up my bum. Up into the tailpipe of my plane. I was just having fun flying and he decided that I needed to get blown out of the sky. So yeah, that was my first experience in multiplayer. Yeah, PlayStation certainly changed everything, didn't it? It made gaming a lot more accessible for people. I remember on my PC having to configure the high mem and all that sort of thing just so I could play a game on it. Awesome. Yeah, back in the days when you actually got a proper physical printed book as a manual. Good morning, Grumpy Grey Farmer. How are you? Thank you for joining. Yes, we're having a good evening here. Just catching up on some contracts. Not much happening on the farm. It's nearly winter time, so just sort of filling in some time. Probably skip through winter and come back in at spring. So I'm thinking of maybe doing a stream on the Four Fields map, multiplayer. If you want to let me know in Discord if you want to join, I can add you into our voice chat on Discord. We can use that. And honestly, I'm not too sure how it will go for our UK friends and German friends, Europe friends, because I am based in New Zealand and that's where my PC is based as well, so there may be a huge lag problem. I'm not sure, but you guys are more than welcome. If you let me know, I can know how many slots to add in, and yeah, we can have a bit of fun tomorrow night if you guys are interested. Yeah, no Flight Simulator since 1987. Yeah, I'll admit I skipped a few. Flight Sim 10, definitely spent a lot of time on that one. I even dabbled into a little bit of X-Plane, but to be honest, when FS 2020 came out, it was sort of like X-Plane didn't stand a chance. Yeah, the ability to fly over a building that sort of looked like your house was definitely an amazing thing. Yeah, awesome, Grumpy. Just yeah, let me know in the Discord, and yeah, I can sort of set up the slots. Like I say, I've got no idea what the ping will be like. It could be pretty horrendous, seeing I'm right in the bottom of the world on the opposite side, so yeah, passwords in the Discord. Yep, that's what I think too, and I just hope my pipe's big enough with the stream going out and all the connections coming in. It could be fun. So, word of warning, I will be streaming, so you know, if you're not comfortable with that, I can understand. Yeah, mate, that was that jumped up today. Actually, it was sitting at 129 last night, and came on tonight, and it jumped right up to 131, and then 132. So, yeah, I'm stoked. You know, when you think about it. Yeah, if you put all those people into a room, you've got to have a big room to fit 132 people in. And it just amazes me that that's 132 people that, you know, want to subscribe to my channel and view it again. And, you know, I do look at some at YouTube analytics and I see the returning viewers, and you guys are just amazing. You guys are the best. Okay, implement botch up counter. I think that's number 3, isn't it? I need to put a counter in, not a crash counter. Implement not lowered or activated counter. Yeah, I think by tonight I might have over 2,000 watch hours, which is just amazing. Yep, thanks for joining there, AI Farmer. You have a good day, my friend. Certainly, Klaus. Yeah, it's okay. Grumpy Grey, it's I have the chat come up on the stream anyway, so people can see both chats. So yeah, we get a few people on the vertical stream and we get a few people on the horizontal stream sometimes. Can make an interesting chat. I have both chats come up on my OBS so I can see both of them at the same time. And that's also reflected on the game screen, so as you're watching the video you can see the chat scroll up. Yeah, so we had a goal of 150 by the end of April, which yeah, we've just started April and we're already 132. Yeah, it can be a bit difficult, I know. I reckon we've got time for one more contract. Yeah. Fair enough, Grumpy. There's something relaxing about Farm Simulator and just, you know, going up and down a field and changing its look from one type to another type. Thank you, Klaus. Yep, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm probably going to finish this field and then I might call it a night for me. But thank you for joining, and enjoy your run, my friend. You have a good day. Yep, awesome. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Oh, that's good to hear, mate. Good to hear. You'll have to put some pictures up again. Oh, thank you, Andrew. Okay, I just got a another badge. Wasn't even trying. Yeah, sometimes it's just nice to just sit back, relax in the tractor, and just do some cultivating and have some good conversation with people as well. Andrew, you're far too modest. Your builds are absolutely awesome. I was just astounded at the detail that you'd put into that build, that you'd put up on Discord. It was amazing, and you know, I could be wrong here, but I don't think you were using Giant's Editor, were you? That's all just placeables. And your texturing on the ground was absolutely fantastic. Yep, thanks for joining CS Benji. You have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining. I do appreciate it. And that's the thing, eh? It is the fun you have in doing it. Yeah, what I did on my one was all placeables. I did do a little bit of XML editing just on the buildable farmhouse, so that it came up as fully built instead of having to build it. Yeah, I just did it because I liked the style of the farmhouse, and I wanted one that I could walk inside, which none of the other ones you can. But yeah, I don't do a lot of texturing like you did. That was just incredible what you were doing, layering the textures like that, and yeah, getting a lot of detail into it. Oh, that'll be awesome, Andrew. Appreciate that. I look forward to seeing them. Yeah, textures can really annoy me because I like to have nice straight lines, and you know, the textures just sometimes do not work that well. They drive me nuts. Well, it sounds like the rain's starting here, so that's good. We definitely need rain here. The only part of my lawn that's green is the part that's got the weeds in it. Yeah, I know the contract's finished, but I still sort of like to finish off the job pretty much. That's why I'm glad that mod came out, which allowed you to finish the contract instead of getting the annoying pop-up saying you don't own this field. Thank you, Klaus, for visiting. I do appreciate it. You have a good day, my friend. Take care. Yep, definitely, Klaus. That's good advice. Yeah, thought it was the next one. I do like this map. He's done a great job on it. It is, mate. It is. 133. That's amazing. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I do appreciate it. You guys are absolutely awesome. So for anyone that wants to join the Discord link's just popped up on the chat. Feel free to join the Discord. There's we like to put up some pictures of the farm builds. I usually throw up a few videos of different farming things that I find. Pops up on my feed that I think other people might find interesting. And I'll put announcements there for my streams and that sort of thing. If you let me know on Discord that you'd like to try the multiplayer, I can make a slot for you. You can tell I definitely drive on the English side of the road. Went up to the side I'd normally go to on my car to hop into the driver's seat. Funny how even in game you just do things instinctively. What can be a little bit scary is when you're actually driving on the road and you actually have to physically think, which side am I meant to be on? Hey, thanks Andrew. I will look at that as soon as I finish the stream. Looking forward to it. Right, we get the right button. Okay, people, I think we'll call it there for the night. It's been an interesting stream for me anyway, just relaxing and having great conversation with everyone. Been absolutely fantastic. And just relaxing, doing some cultivating contracts. That was nice too. Thank you to everyone that has joined, and thank you to everyone that subscribed and has hit the like button. I do appreciate everything. You guys are absolutely awesome. It's still not too late to hit the like button, and if you haven't done so, feel free to subscribe. We're a friendly bunch here, and we like to have a bit of fun. But thank you to everyone. So until next time, have a good day, a good afternoon, or a good evening, wherever you are in the world. And until next time, bye.